The Truck by Gideon. I'm not even sure what to name this or where to begin, so I'll start with the basics. Hi, my name is Gideon. Yes, that is my name, and it's spelled with a Y, not an I. I figured telling you my name is not gonna hurt me, because for the following reasons. For the sake of time and patience, I want to apologize to you for how long my story is, because this is just one of a string of events I've done or that was done to me in the 19 years of my life. Let me set the stage for you. This happened last year, well, more like the spring of 2016, and I was an 18-year-old who had just had her own version of a midlife crisis and was ready to give up finding love. For description, I'm a black girl, tall, tan, with short woolly hair and big brown eyes that lightened or darkened due to the season I was in. They were hidden behind a pair of thick black and white with a hint of gray and brown framed square glasses that frankly needed to be tightened. I never had a boyfriend, never kissed, never even had a guy look my way before, and though I was somewhat fine with that, it still hurts to know that I'm not an ideal partner for anyone. So, as you know, for a girl who is about 5 feet and 8.4 inches, weighing around 234 pounds, yes, I'm fat, but is an athlete and a very good one, I think you can guess not many people look my way when I walk into a room. Hell, I'm not even sure if many people notice me when I walk into a room. Back then, I was a pretty passive person who, unless I had someone to talk to, didn't talk to many people at all. But I was, and still am, an extremely friendly person. So on the day in question, the day when all hell seemed to break loose in my relatively normal life, I was caught off guard while walking home by a friend of mine who is not that attractive, but I had an odd feeling that he liked me, mostly because my twin brother put the idea into my head. This guy was short, pale, with doe-like dark brown eyes. When I say short, I mean he's around 5 feet and 6 inches. That's not very short, but for a girl who is 3 point some odd inches from 6 feet, that's short. This guy, I'll call him Tyler for the sake of his privacy, and I walked and talked as we walked halfway to my house from school. Where we live, there's an office building where people who live too far away from the community college in their country and didn't want to pay out-of-country tuition could go. The walk to and fro from that school was 30 minutes each, and I have to pass busy streets, some of which were extremely dangerous to cross, because people like to have their nearly 8 feet bushes overgrow and bleed out onto the sidewalk, obstructing the view of the street. Once we turn onto the less busy, but still well-traveled part of my walk, the part where my friend had to leave, I could safely cross the streets without fear of getting hit by an unseen car, unless I wasn't paying attention. As Tyler and I walked up the street, we saw a shiny red car drive up close to us and slow down. "Gid," Tyler took my arm and pulled me closer to him as we both watched a red car drive alongside us. As this was happening, Tyler crossed over me, so he was on the outside and I am on the inside of the sidewalk. We continued walking. We didn't say anything, we just eyed this red car driving alongside us until we came to the end of the block, and it suddenly turned to prevent us from passing. We were getting towards a less populated part of my walk, and there weren't many people out, or at least on their lawns then. I stood there with Tyler, just staring at the car. Tyler had never met my friend, I'll call him William, before, so to him, this was just a creepy-ass red car driving alongside us, but not to me. I noticed a sticker on the side of the car that says, "World's Greatest Dad" or some shit like that. I felt Tyler pulling my arm so he could lead me around the car, his voice nearly whimpering for me to go. "Come on, Gideon, we have to go," he whimpered. I didn't move. I just stood there, staring at the car, thinking it was who I thought it was. The dark window on the passenger side door rolled down, and I saw my friend William leaning over his controls to get a good look at me and Tyler. William was the guy I had and still sort of do have a crush on. He's tall and pale, A white guy with a burnt blonde hair and dark green eyes. He was thin and an athlete like me. In fact, we would run around the track together. William was a father. His 2-year-old son passed away when his girlfriend was in a car accident. That was 5 years ago. At that moment, William was 26, and he was still so happy and perky as ever. At some points in our friendship, it was off-putting. "Gideon!" he yelled from his car. "Hey, I was just driving through and I saw you and your friend walking. Need a lift?" It was at this moment I felt the sun beating down on my head, and little beads of sweat started to form on my neck as I stared back at William. I could see Tyler looking at me with wide brown eyes, like he was waiting for me to tell him what to do. I was in ROTC in high school, I was an army brat, and I went hunting too. I knew what danger was, Tyler would say. I agreed and climbed into the back seat of his car, and Tyler climbed in, a bit timidly, in the front. For a brief second, William and Tyler just stared at each other, not sure what to do at that moment. I knew them both for my whole life, but never once had they met. After introductions and whatnot, William set off to drive down the street to my house, but when he was a few blocks from it, he asked a question. "Do you just want to go for a drive?" It was Friday, and none of us had anything to do, so we all agreed, and William took off driving down the mall close to my old community college, the one out of the country. When we get there, the parking lot is full, even though it was 2 in the afternoon, and most people would be in school or work at that time. We didn't mind. We just circled around the lot, looking for a place to park the car and head into the mall. Oh, I forgot to mention, it was William's birthday, so I guess he was taking us to go celebrate with him, because like me, he's a loner too. We stole a parking slot on the other side of the parking lot, furthest from the entrance of the mall, but closest to the entrance and exit of the lot. Before we got out, Tyler must have seen me staring out the rearview window because he asked me what I was looking at. "That car," I simply said. That time I heard William shift in his seat, as if he was trying to get a good glimpse of the dark pickup truck behind us. We stared at the car that followed us from the moment we got into the parking lot. The door never opened, and I wasn't too sure if the truck was following us before we got into the lot or when we got into the lot. I just noticed it through the side mirror that it followed us while we were in the lot. Another few seconds passed, and I heard William scoff and open his door. I see him smiling a bit and shaking his head as he closed his door and walked around to wait for Tyler and me. I glanced at Tyler, wondering what to do, but the way he looked at me made it seem like he was waiting for me to make the first move. So, with a scoff and a clearly annoyed groan, I got out of the car and stand next to William while watching Tyler do the same. Once outside the car, we start heading into the mall via the Sears back entrance. Once inside, I soon forget about the truck and start talking and smiling with my 2 friends who have gotten to know each other very well. We talked about grabbing lunch at the food court, then dinner later at the restaurant of William's choosing. Tyler and I have $52 put together, and if anything, we could buy William a meal and get McDonald's on our way back to our county. Everything was going great until I heard William go, "Bruh, what are you doing?" Tyler and I spun around swiftly to see a man at William's height, if not a little taller, standing very close to him. He had his head down and his hands in his pocket, so I couldn't see his face or any other part of his skin, but he was clean, with very clean dark hair and clean-cut clothes on. He wasn't a creepy-looking man at all from what I could see. In addition, by the way he was dressed, I guess he couldn't be much older than me, around Tyler's age, maybe 24? The man mumbled something very low, and I have good hearing because I'm a musician on my downtime, and I didn't understand what he said. He muttered something and sauntered off down another corridor in the mall, away from us. I saw William's eyes follow the man, a look of disgust and utter annoyance on his face, as the creepy guy walked away. When he was gone, we continued on our way to Macy's, where we looked for a hat for William's mom, whose birthday was the next day. While there, I once again forgot about the encounter with the man and the truck and ran the store with my friends looking for hats, jackets, and socks. I laughed at Tyler while he modeled a woman's hat like the woman on the runways, making duck faces, exaggerated hip sways, and poses that looked unnatural. We followed William to the jeans and graded him on how he looked in several pairs. All in all, it was a fun experience. We met a lot of Tyler and William's friends. All of them were mutual and made it ironic that the two men had never met before. We forgot about lunch and dinner and planned on just going to see a movie in our county before they took me home and William dropped Tyler off. We were planning to see some matinee film that was showing at our local Regals theater. I believe it was the new Mad Max film that came out the year before and did very well in my eyes, despite the film not really having to do with the guy and more of the girl in the story. So, we were driving down the dark, quiet road that was leading to our theater and past my house. To this day, I'm so happy William did not listen to me when I had said, "Why don't you go to my house and just watch a movie there? You both have been there before." Instead, he and Tyler both had stayed silent. I don't know what transpired between both men from the time we left the mall of our county to the time we passed my house, but I was either listening to music or sleeping. Most likely both. I told William again, leaning forward in my seat, and this time I was met with a sharp, "Shut up, Gideon, my God." That came from Tyler. Tyler was like me, passive and calm, but I have seen him get mad and annoyed. I have seen both William and Tyler that way, sometimes at me. But this was new for Tyler. This was a new sound. It was the sound of fear. And though he did his best to stay calm for me and not make me freak out, which I never do, I couldn't help but slowly turn around to face the rear window, and what was there frightened me. At first, it took a second for my eyes to adjust to the darkness. Though I have excellent hearing, my eyesight was and still is horrid. Then, it suddenly came into focus. I saw a dark, massive truck on our asses like the movie Doom. I sat there, probably looking like a fool with my eyes wide open and my jaw slacked, watching this monster of a vehicle get closer and closer. In an impulse, I shouted to William to take the winding roads out of the county and into the neighboring county that was not far from my house either. My neighborhood bordered two counties. William did just as he was told and took a sharp left to start our winding trip to the next county. When we got to the main road of that county, William asked me if I still saw the truck. I told him no, and we all breathed a sigh of relief before heading to one of the Regal movie theaters in the county we were currently in. Fast forward to us sitting in the theater. We were watching previews of the movie that had been in theaters already or are going to be out soon. One of the movies I had seen already at the time was San Andreas and thought it was good. It could have been classified as a B-type movie. I suddenly heard William go, "Oh shit," and we looked down to see, and his wet shirt, his water had spilled on him. I didn't want him to go to the bathroom alone, not after what we had just experienced an hour prior, and Tyler just wanted to tag along so I would be safe. So we asked a couple behind us to save our seats and travel as a troop out to the hall and question a worker about where the men's bathroom was. She tells us, and Tyler, William, and I walk down the hall to see the worldly known sign of the men's bathroom. I wait outside for William with Tyler. As we were waiting, I could hear the movie starting in the room next to us. It wasn't ours, but I knew for a fact that by the time it took William to dry his very wet shirt, our movie would have started already. So I leave, with Tyler following close behind. We didn't wander far. We wanted to be there when William came out of the bathroom. We just walked down the game room. The first thing I saw was a Pac-Man game. Now, I know I was only 18 at the time and 19 now, but my parents raised me on old school games and heavily beloved PS1 games like Spyro the Dragon and Pac-Man, which did turn into a PS game for its 20th anniversary some odd years before I was born. As so you can tell, I was stoked as a fucking child on Hanukkah and Christmas. And to see this damn game, and no one was playing it. I lost sight of Tyler as I was stuck on this game, grabbing fruit, extra men, and running away from ghosts only to be eaten by the Forgotten One in the corner that decided to swing around and block me from getting to the Powerball. I was having a blast and I forgot about Tyler William in the movie. Now this is where I say, I think you can guess that not many people look my way when I walk into a room. Hell, I'm not even sure many people notice me when I walk into a room. I was a pretty passive person who, unless I had to talk to someone, I didn't talk to many people at all. But I still was and am an extremely friendly person. As I was playing this game, and beating the high score, may I just add, I saw a man in a dark hoodie walk up to me. I at first thought he was watching me demolish the hopes and dreams of those who had came before me and those who will come after. When I lost my last man and realized I left my wallet in the car, I stepped down from the game and saw the man still looking at me. Hey, I said, trying not to start anything. I just wanted to find Tyler and get back to the bathroom to look for William. I take a step forward, trying to find the familiar sky blue t-shirt Tyler was wearing. I hear and felt the man step closer to me, and I started to get worried. I wish I could tell you that I saw Tyler in the corner of the room, watching some random kid play some random-ass game, or that I told the creep behind me to back off lest I fuck him up, or that William came out of the bathroom and just came looking for us after finding us missing. I wish I could tell you any of this happened, but I can't. I just stood there, feeling the creepy man press up against me and speak creepily in my ear. He didn't smell bad. The only off-putting smell was the cheap cologne he was wearing. Hey there, he said. I flinched, not sure what to do. I was an extremely passive, non-fussy, and non-confrontational person. I tried not to make anyone feel unwelcome or unwanted, but this was pushing my buttons. I don't get mad fast or easily, and I wasn't then, yet I was uncomfortable. You're pretty. The magic words. I'm such an idiot. I spun around to get a good look at the man. He was white, around 6 feet tall or something in that nature, with dark blue eyes, dark hair, and pale lips. Unlike other scary stories, this creeper didn't look like a creeper. He looked like a teenager, maybe a little older, around 19 or an 18-year-old dude. Whatever his age was, he was very creepy. I took a step back because even though I liked the compliment, the way he said it threw me off. An eerie grin grew on his face, and it was at that point I knew I fucked up. I continued to take a few steps back, the man slowly following me, until I turned around and hauled ass out of the game room. I didn't look back, I just rounded the corner, going as fast as my long-ass legs could take me, until I met William and Tyler at the bathroom. They were talking, a look of concern on their faces. When I ran up to them, I saw them both stare at me. What? I panted, hard. Where have you been? Tyler questioned sternly. What do you mean? I asked, taken back. I was in the game room where you left me. A lot of realization grew on Tyler's face. You forgot I was there? I almost screamed, after what had just happened with a stranger pushing me against and me being scared for my life. I wanted to slap him. I'm one of his best friends. How the hell could he forget I was there? It doesn't matter. I heard the gravity in William's voice. My eyes darted to him. Oh my god. We have to leave, like now. Why? I wasn't stupid. I just wanted William to verify my fears. He didn't say anything. He just looked past me and at something or someone. I didn't turn around. I knew it was the guy I had just met in the game room before. William told us not to say anything and walk out to the front entrance of the building to the car like we saw nothing. When I turned around finally, I saw the man I was with in the game room with popcorn in his hands. He was flanked by 2 other shady-looking white dudes. One was dressed like the guy who ran into William at the mall. I didn't think much of the meetup and totally forgot about the truck that tried to follow us into the county. That was until I walked outside and saw the big black truck parked very close behind us. It was almost illegally close, and William couldn't even get into the driver's seat via that way, so he climbed over Tyler, who was just frozen scared, and almost kicked me in the face as I was leaning forward. Once seated in the car, Tyler pulled out of our spot, but stopped when he saw 3 men watching us as they walked to the black truck. They were the same guys from the hallway a few seconds before. They continued to stare at us and us at them until they disappeared into the truck. The soldier's daughter and me told William not to move and see what they were going to do first. We waited for what felt like a century, just waiting for each other to make the first move. I could feel William and Tyler getting peevish, and I told them to wait a few more minutes. After a few seconds, the truck hauled off, and we waited until we thought it was a safe distance away. After that, I snapped at William to bolt it out of the lot and drive us back home. After we entered the county of our own, we slowed our speed greatly, and I sighed with relief. I fiddled in my pocket, looking for my phone to tell my mother that I would be home shortly, like in 30 minutes really. It was almost 12, and I'm actually very calm in my car with my music and my friends. After a while, William told me to play some songs on the car stereo, and I hand the phone to Tyler. My choice of music is old school jam, my favorite artists being Michael Jackson and Prince. We were singing in the car loudly to 17 Days by Prince when I feel the car rock hard. And that's it. I woke up later in a hospital, surrounded by my family and a few friends I managed to obtain during my life. The police came in a few moments later and told my family to leave while they sat and talked to me. They told me I was in a car wreck, that the big black truck that's been following us all afternoon and into the night was the same car that hit us. William and Tyler took most of the damage, but that was because after we were hit the first time, I was knocked out. I took most of the damage during the first hit, which wasn't much. But Tyler and William had climbed over the front seats to see if I was alive. We were tagged again by another car then. That one crashed into the sides of the car while we were in against the black truck, crushing, somehow, Tyler's leg and nearly crushing William to death. If they had stayed in the front seat, then everyone would have been fine and with minimal damage. William lost both legs in the accident, and Tyler's legs needs metal plates in it, but I'm fine. I was fine the whole time. I have no idea why those men were following us, and I don't care to understand. I just know that they changed the lives of 2 of my closest friends and me. I don't know how, but after the accident and seeing William learn how to use new legs and the large scar on Tyler's, I somehow grew out of my passive self and started to become more assertive and direct. I'm still quiet, still refusing to talk to people without being approached first, but I am very much a different person. The case is still pending, so I can't tell too much more about it, but to the 3 assholes who wouldn't leave us alone, I hope you rot in jail or hell, whichever one comes first.